The Celtics put themselves in great position to repeat as champions by signing their core players to extensions as well as re-signing their key bench pieces this offseason. While those were great moves, the Celtics also made an underrated pickup when they signed Lonnie Walker to an Exhibit 10 contract. For those who don't know, an Exhibit 10 contract is a one-year veteran minimum deal that's non-guaranteed. If a player on an Exhibit 10 contract is kept on the 15-man roster past the start of the regular season, his contract becomes a standard veteran minimum deal. So Lonnie has a chance to earn a roster spot for the Celtics in training camp. If he's still on the team, I think he could become a valuable rotation piece for the Boston Celtics. Lonnie was drafted 18th overall back in 2018 by the Spurs. He showed plenty of potential while he was in San Antonio, but he was just way too inconsistent, so the Spurs chose to move on from him after his rookie contract expired. He then played on the Lakers next to LeBron and Anthony Davis and had a career season where he was a solid role player for the team. He even had some breakout performances in pivotal games in the playoffs during the Lakers' run to the conference finals. Last season, he played for the Brooklyn Nets, where he once again was a solid contributor, but it was on a Nets team that was one of the worst teams in the league. Even though Lonnie Walker hasn't made much of a name for himself, I think his skill set could prove to be really valuable for the Celtics. And despite being a 6-year veteran, he's still only 25 years old, so there's a good chance he hasn't played his best basketball yet. But what exactly does Lonnie Walker bring to the table? Let's talk about it. But first, we have to talk about BetUS. Guys, BetUS makes watching the game much more engaging because you can put your knowledge to the test by placing bets, and if you're right, you could win some serious cash. The Celtics were the top team in the East last year, and I think they'll pull it off again. So I'm going to bet on the Celtics winning over 58 games this season. If you sign up, use the code YouTube150 and receive a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and 125% on the second and third deposit. Now back to Lonnie Walker. One area where Lonnie could help out the Celtics is bench scoring. The Celtics don't have many weaknesses as a team, but one weakness the Celtics did have last year was their second unit. They didn't get much offense from their bench, ranking just 21st in the NBA in bench points. Now the Celtics clearly didn't need to have a good second unit to win a title last year, but they're still going to want to have better bench production going into next season. Porzingis is expected to miss at least the first month of the season after getting surgery on his leg this summer. The rest of the 4 starters are going into this upcoming season with a lot of wear and tear on their bodies. Not only did Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, and Derek White all play from October to June, but they also played in the Paris Olympics in July and August. To play that much ball over the past year and go on another deep playoff run will be extremely taxing, which is why repeating as champions is extremely difficult. So it would make sense to reduce the starters' minutes, but the Celtics will need more offensive firepower from their bench to help them win games when their starters play less minutes. Guys like Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, and Al Horford are solid players, but none of these guys are very good scorers. Lonnie Walker, on the other hand, has proven to be a player that can score at a high level. I know he only averaged 10 points per game last year, but I think he's a better player than his season average would suggest. Last year, the Nets signed Lonnie Walker with the hopes that he could be a nice spark off their bench, and he got off to a really hot start to the season. Through October and November, Walker was averaging 15 points per game while shooting 49% from the field and 46% from deep. The high-level bench production made Lonnie Walker an early candidate for the 6th Man of the Year award. Unfortunately for Lonnie, he would then suffer a hamstring injury that would cost him 17 games. And then when he came back to the lineup, it took him a while to regain his rhythm while also suffering setbacks to that same injury. As a result, he saw his minutes and his production drop off. Despite not being able to match that early 6th Man of the Year level production, he still added some solid scoring off the bench that the Nets needed when he was healthy. So what exactly makes Lonnie Walker such a good scorer? A big strength in his game is his ability to put pressure on the rim. He's got a quick first step that allows him to beat defenders off the dribble and get in the paint. And he was a pretty good finisher when he got to the basket last season. He's a high flyer, allowing him to make acrobatic finishes over help defenders that challenge him on his drives. Some of his finishing plays were incredible, oftentimes pulling off monster throwdowns.
Walker, blasting Lonnie Walker can fly!
We also get to see Lonnie's athletic gifts in transition. After getting a rebound or a steal, he loves pushing the ball and gliding all the way to the rim on the fast break. or he'll put himself in position to get set up on the fast break, beating everyone else down the court, and catching an outlet pass to get an easy dunk or a layup. Last year, the Celtics were one of the top transition teams. They love getting the ball out in transition to get easy points when the other team hasn't gotten a chance to set up their defense. Lonnie should get himself a lot of easy buckets on the Celtics this season just from running the floor hard. A big part of Lonnie's scoring is also his ability to hit from deep. He's coming off a great shooting season, knocking down 38% of his threes on 5 attempts per game. If given even an inch of daylight, he'll let it fly and knock it down. He could also create space to get his shot off, often using crossovers and step backs to create that separation to shoot the jumper. For Boston, Lonnie should be instant offense the second he gets in the game. He'll be able to provide some consistent scoring as a 6 or 7 man, and he'll likely have several games where he explodes for 15 to 20 plus points, which is exactly what Boston needs. Not only can Lonnie come in and provide a spark, but he could also play alongside the starters when needed thanks to his off-ball skills. Lonnie shoots it really well off the catch, which should allow him to flourish when playing alongside the starters. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both put a ton of pressure on the rim, which creates open looks, and Lonnie should feast on the open three-pointers. He's also a terrific cutter. Unlike other players, he won't just stay parked at the three-point line when off the ball. If his man loses focus on him, he's cutting to the basket for wide open dunks and layups. The Jays both draw a lot of double teams, and Lonnie could get a lot of easy buckets from cutting when his man leaves him to go double. Overall, his offensive skill set makes him a great complement to the Celtics squad. He could be that second unit scorer the Celtics didn't have last year, and his off-ball skills would allow him to thrive when playing alongside the Celtics stars. While Lonnie's offense is a major strength of his game, we have to discuss his main weakness, and that's his defense. Lonnie is one of those players that has the athleticism and physical tools to be an amazing defender, but the effort just simply isn't always there. When he's locked in, he could be an awesome on-ball defender. He's got the agility to stay in front of quick players, and his long arms allows him to contest shots really well. But too often, he's not focused on that end of the court, especially off the ball where he tends to lose track of his man. Lonnie's defensive effort has always been inconsistent, which is why he's never been a heavy minutes player despite his offensive gifts. At this point, it's up to Lonnie. If he could be a reliable defender every game, then Missoula will probably give him a lot of burn. But if he continues to be inconsistent on that end of the court, I wouldn't expect him to play a ton of minutes unless he's having a really good scoring game. At this point, it's up to Lonnie to play with 100% effort and focus on defense to prove he could be a legit two-way player. Overall, I think you should like the Lonnie Walker pickup if you're a Celtics fan. It's a great low-risk, high-reward move. If he doesn't play up to standards, then the Celtics could just cut him. But if he does play well, and he brings that 6-man of the year production that he was bringing at the start of the season for the Nets last year, then he could be a really good role player for the Celtics and give them a much better chance at winning the championship. But now I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of the Celtics signing Lonnie Walker? Do you think he should make the final roster spot? And do you think he could be a good contributor for this upcoming season? Let me see your thoughts down below in the comment section. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I hope to see you guys next video.